Hey, 7th graders. Today's lesson is 2.6 microbiomes. It's actually a combination of 2.6 and a little bit of 2.7, but this will kind of wrap up our unit on microbiomes. We'll be taking our test here on this in the next couple days, and then we'll be moving on to our next unit, our full unit, which is metabolism. Okay, so your learning targets for today, I can write an argument for a claim using scientific evidence. So you guys are going to be looking at the other two subclaims. From 2.5, we learned about the subclaim 1 that looked at food and space being a reason why fecal transplants worked. Okay, now you guys are going to look at subclaim 2 and 3, which we'll get to here in a second. Moving on, we have a little bit of important information for you guys to start off with. So obviously, if you are watching this video, you guys are home absent today and are doing this work from home. So with that being said, this note applies to you. If you are absent, follow the directions for the odd numbered tables. So if you sit at an odd numbered table, which that's you guys at home, you will complete slides 3 through 14. This section looks at B. fragilis bacteria and why it is helpful to your gut microbiome. Your warm-up lesson starts on slide 4. So you guys can kind of see slide 3 says odd number tables below. That's also absent kids. Okay, and your warm-up again is on slide 4. So for your warm-up today, you guys have this experiment 2 with mice. It's also B. fragilis, which is the bacteria you guys are going to focus on today. So the question is, how does B. fragilis bacteria and the gut microbiome affect a mouse's gut health? Okay, so you guys can see here's a normal mouse. You guys can see all the different types of bacteria. So we got this light blue, this medium blue, this dark blue. We've got this purple, and then we've got some other types of bacteria that are all kinds of things. We also have this mouse right here that has absolutely no bacteria, and it's got it all. And then we have this mouse right here that has only this B. fragilis, this medium blue color. Okay, so if we look at the one that has a normal mouse microbiome, we can see that it has high immune cells and high gut mucus. Okay, if we look at the mouse without any bacteria at all, we see low immune cells and low gut mucus. And then if we look at the one with just B. fragilis, we see high immune cells and low gut mucus. So with this, immune cells are little cells that are kind of like the defenders of the body. So if there's something bad in the body that's making us sick, those immune cells are sending out little chemicals to kind of attack them and get rid of them. Okay, so it's good to have high immune cells, especially in your gut when we have potentially harmful bacteria. Okay, so what you guys are going to do on this is you guys are going to choose 3 things that you guys want to write notes about that you think are important about this set of data. Okay, so you guys will type next to annotation 1 what you think it's important, and then you guys will use the draw tool to kind of draw and connect that. So what I might put in there is that, for a first example, I might say that each mouse has different bacteria. Okay, and then I would take my draw tool and I would highlight, here's this one, here's this one, and here's this one. Okay, and then for your next annotation, you guys would type it in there and then maybe use a different color to connect that so I can kind of see what you guys are highlighting. Okay, so you guys will do 3 annotations on that. And you're more than welcome to do my first annotation. That's totally fine. Okay, so go ahead. You guys can pause this video, take a second to complete your warm-up, and then we can move on. All right, so for your activity 2 today, you are going to read this article, Bacteria B. fragilis. So you'll right-click it, open the link. It'll take you guys into Amplify, and you guys can read a little bit about B. fragilis. Make sure you guys take an important close look at the figures given to you guys. It's not a very long article. Remember, Amplify will also read that to you guys. If you hit the speaker and push play.
Bacteria B. fragilis.
All right. Once you guys are done reading that, you guys again can pause this video, take a second to read and or listen to that. And then let's move on to our next slide. Okay, so if you are in class, which you are not, so you can ignore that first note. Let's move to the second. If you are absent, complete the card sort on the next slide, slide 6. So you guys are the only ones that are doing this. So if you guys note, excuse me, that's supposed to be slide 7. I made some edits, and now that's slide 7. Okay. All right, so on slide 7, you guys will complete the card sort. Okay, so it looks a little bit something like this. And again, notice how it says absent students only. Okay, so that's you guys at home. So what you guys will do is on the left-hand side, we have what we call an evidence gradient. At the top of this gradient, we want to put the pieces of information that we feel are really, really important and really relevant. Relevant means that it's a good source and that it gives us a lot of good scientific information. Okay, at the bottom of this slide, we're going to put the pieces of evidence that aren't so great. They're irrelevant. Maybe they come from a bad source. Maybe they don't have anything to do with what we're trying to figure out at all. Okay, what we have is subclaim 2 says that bacteria from the fecal transplant can help the patient's body produce immune cells that kill invading bacteria. So really our keys there are that they help the patient's body produce immune cells that kill invading bacteria. Okay, and then our other subclaim that we looked at was that bacteria from the fecal transplant can help the patient's body produce mucus that protects the gut from invading bacteria. Okay, so what you guys will look at then is where these cards go. So do they support claim 2 or do they support claim 3? And then how good of a piece of evidence it are. So you guys are going to kind of have cards all over the place and you guys might have to kind of cover them up. That's totally fine. If the card is too little for you guys to see, you guys can always click on it, make it bigger, read it, and then make it small and sort it somewhere else. Okay, so let's go ahead and start and I'll show you guys what this looks like. So let's take a look at our first card right here. So I'm going to click on my card A. I'm going to hold it down and I'm going to drag it. Okay, and then I'm going to read it. So evidence card A says that L. reuteri bacteria help us digest good and produce vitamins that aid human health. Okay, you guys are going to kind of think, all right, does this belong with claim 2? Or does this belong with claim 3? So this one really, I can't decide whether it goes with either, so I'm going to kind of put it in the middle. And it doesn't really help either of these claims, so I'm going to put it down towards the bottom where it's a little less relevant. Okay? Let's grab a different one that I can help you guys sort a little bit more definitely. So you guys have some in here that are pictures. So here's a good one. Bacteria like B. fragilis help the body produce immune cells that kill harmful bacteria. That one's really important. So we're going to put that up at the top, and it also very much supports our subclaim 2. So we're going to put it underneath subclaim 2. On the pictures like these, you guys can click to make them bigger. You guys can kind of move these around so you guys can see. Okay, you guys can also click on the picture, go up to picture, and then hit arrange and put bring forward, okay? Or you guys can do bring to front as well. So if you're having a hard time seeing those, you guys, like I said, can kind of move these to the side. So you guys can sort through. Once you guys have figured out where you want to sort that, you guys can make it smaller again. Okay, so that's kind of how you guys do this little bacteria sort here. And again, if you need to kind of stack your cards on top of each other or stagger them on top of each other, that's okay too. Okay, all right, moving on. So once you guys have completed that card sort, then you guys will look at this question. You'll need your draw tool. Notice how A, there's a question mark, and B, there's a little bitmoji of me saying, yo, use your draw tool. You guys are going to click up here, and then you guys are going to say, all right, which claim do you think the evidence from the experiment helps support? So do you think it only supported one, it supported both, neither, or subclaim 2 or 3? So you guys will circle and or highlight the subclaim you guys think is supported by the evidence you guys just read on these little cards. Okay? All right. Once you guys are done with that card sort, then we're going to go and we're going to look at what we need to do to write an argument. Again, since you guys are doing this from home, you guys don't necessarily have the benefit of doing group work. Okay, so if you are absent, you will not complete the discussion diamond, so you don't have to worry about what that is until our next time we use it, and hopefully you'll be in class. And we'll go right to writing an argument on the next slide. So we're going to kind of skip reading about how to do our discussion diamond. And what we're going to look at is write an argument that supports the subclaim you chose. So you guys are going to choose one of those subclaims that you think is most correct or the most supported. Okay, to make sure your argument is clear and convincing, you're going to start by restating your claim. So again, that's either subclaim 1 or subclaim 2. You guys can look back on slide 7 for those subclaims. Okay, and you're going to use 2 to 3 pieces of evidence directly from the evidence cards to support your argument. Write 5 to 8 clear sentences. Use sentence starters right here if you're stuck, and then summarize your argument. Once you guys have written your argument, remember it should be about 5 to 8 sentences. Very first sentence should be, what is your claim? Okay, restate your claim. That's a freebie sentence. Okay, then you guys are going to use evidence from your claim, so you guys can go back to your card sort and say, all right, I decided on claim 2, so I'm going to restate my claim. Bacteria from the fecal transplant can help the patient's body produce immune cells that kill invading bacteria. I'm going to use some of my best pieces of evidence here to support that claim and use it as evidence. Okay, so I'm going to directly use what's written on these cards to support my subclaim. Okay, then you guys can kind of tie in your own reasoning. Why did those pieces of evidence tell you that your claim is correct? Okay, and then finally, you're going to kind of just sum up what you wrote about. Once you guys are done writing your argument, you're going to reread through it, and then you're going to use your draw tool to answer these questions. I stated the claim clearly, so you're going to highlight either definitely, somewhat, not really, or not at all. Okay, I included evidence. Those should be things directly from those evidence cards to support the claim. Definitely, somewhat, not really, or not at all, so choose one of those. If you guys are doing not at all, then you probably need to go back and write your argument again. Okay, and then finally, I made my reasoning clear by explaining how the evidence supports the claim. So again, definitely, somewhat, not really, not at all. So you guys kind of put your own words in there too to say, why are these pieces of evidence that I talked about off the cards important? Okay, since you are working at home, I also want you guys to get someone in your house to read your argument and to look at these little rankings that you did right here to see if you guys are correct on them. Okay. And then finally, do your wrap up. Do you have any questions? Circle yes or no. If you have questions, type them right here. And then 4, 3, 2, 1, how do you think you did on this assignment? Voila! Couldn't have done it better myself. Unless, of course, you forget to hand it in, then I could do it better. Okay? All right. Go ahead, hand this in, and I hope you're having a great day. You can ignore the rest of these slides. They are for kids in class. Bye.